Hey guys, Mike here. So another interesting day in the market. Has some green right here, especially on the Qs, and we're going to go into all that. And there's some stocks that had some big jumps today. We'll talk about them. I'm also going to go ahead, you know me, I like to do research so I can show it to you. Tomorrow we go into September. Obviously, you'll see this little chart thing, which I'll show you floating around everywhere, showing September is the worst month of the year as far as returns. But you know me, I like to dig in deeper for you guys and actually show you. So we're going to do a rapid fire from 2013 to 2022, so you get 10 years straight up of why did I use 2013? Because we actually eclipsed the high of the 2007 or 8 year, whatever it was, right before the crash. The government was in full force of taking over the markets. They were the biggest buyer of bonds and mortgage-backed securities and keeping the rates low, and the Fed's balance sheet was ballooning like crazy. And so that's why I'll start in 2013. I think it makes it fair and move forward so you can see it, and it'll be really rapid fire. So you can not take my word for it. You get to see it for yourself, all right? Now, obviously, yesterday's video got a whole bunch of comments when I talked about the tax system. I did a piss poor job, as I talked in our Discord today, of being more detailed, even though, I cut out 8 minutes of that rant because I get going. I don't use a script for those who are new to the channel. I'm just going off the cuff, right? And so I cut that thing way down. Saturday, I will elaborate on that because some of you guys in the comments put some great stuff in there. We'll talk more about that, so we'll definitely touch that. But I will start with this, and I don't know how many times this is going to happen before something's finally done about this. It's just sad. It's our old boy, our old friend Mitch McConnell again. Look at this.
What are my thoughts about what?
Running for re-election in 2026.
Oh. That's
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026? All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute. Penny.
Understand, for those who don't know and follow politics, that is the #1 Republican in Washington. He was the head of the Senate, I think multiple times actually, but if Trump would have won re-election, he would be actually in charge of the Senate again. All right, you got Feinstein. She don't know what's going on. You got the president. Do I need to do like all the videos of this dude falling all over the place? Off bikes, during speeches. Shaking people's hands, falling. So it's just, I'm not making fun of him. I swear I feel bad. It's sad. It's just sad. But it's like, please, when we come up for this next election, can we find anybody from the age of like 35 to at least 60, somewhere in there that's qualified? It's ridiculous. And obviously he ain't stepping down. And I know the people in Kentucky heard me because y'all were chanting retire at him last time he was there rallying, but he's not hearing it. He don't want to hear it. He's obviously not hearing it from anybody else. Right? So, it's just sad, man. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on it. I don't know how that story is going to end, but we did. And the bad thing is I have to look how this up. Like if he steps down, who does take over? Does his wife take over? Because you've seen that before, right? Because I believe when McCain passed away, I thought his wife took his seat. I could be totally mistaken on that, but I need to see what it is because I don't want her in there either, by the way, because she's much younger, if I'm not mistaken, than he is. And, you guys might elect her in Kentucky. Who knows? Maybe she'll be better. But, I understand my biggest dislike of Mitch McConnell is the fact that he has railed and he's been very victorious on keeping, big money in politics, right? Dirty money and all that good stuff. He sued sued us, actually, went to the Supreme Court and won. He was the one that got that Citizens United passed, where, companies are people and they can donate as much money as they want, And so that's my biggest dislike of Mitch McConnell. Now, going into all the data today, which we had a boatload of data come out this morning. Oh, and you think today's dump was big? Wait till I show you what's coming out tomorrow. You don't want to miss that one. And you can see I'm just going to read this off of the morning news brief because it makes it easier for me. But you can see right here, July's PCE price index year over year came in 3.3. And guess what the estimate was? 3.3. July core PCE came in 4.2. Guess what the estimate was? 4.2. Jobless claim didn't come anywhere near what I thought it was going to come in at. It's 228K versus 235K. So less than what was expected versus like those other job reports showed there was much more softening, right? Continuous claims came in about as what expected. Personal income came in a little less than expected. Personal spending came in just a tick above what was expected. And then after the market opened around 10, you had August Chicago PMI hit and it moved up to 48.7 versus 44.2 so prices paid rose at a faster pace. New orders, which is always important, I talked about this yesterday, popped back into expansion, so that's actually a good thing. Employment contracted at slower pace, and production popped back into expansion. But you can see by this chart, that is not where you want to be as far as like us in a booming economy. You want to be moving up, okay? And so we'll see if that pop actually continues or not. And guys, before we continue, if you get anything out of this, please hit that thumbs up down there. I really appreciate it. And if you like the material here and the videos, think about subscribing. And so like I said, I'll show you at the end all the data coming out tomorrow because it dwarfs what came out today or even this entire week, actually. I was actually surprised when I looked at it today. And so that leads us into what goes on in September, right? And this is what you've seen floating around all over the place. This chart, it looks just like this right here. It covers the S&P, it covers the NASDAQ. One goes back to 44, one goes back to 1970. The shaded area is September. And you can see, look at the ranking. That's the second column, 12, right? You see it on both of them. But what's mind-boggling, look at the frequency of events on the S&P. 44% in September. Look at all the rest. They ain't below 50. Matter of fact, the lowest one, what is 53, I believe? And then you go down the Qs, you got a better chance, 52%, right? And then, so let's go into the charts. I'm going to start in 2013. I told you I started here because we eclipsed a high right before the great financial crash, and the government is in full charge right here of the market. They're completely taking over the markets. We don't know this at this point in time, obviously. And you can see what's happening. We're moving up steadily. August, I looked at August a little bit before we looked at September. You see us coming down everything. Here comes September right here. It ends up popping at the beginning and then selling off. So basically it goes flat for the month. And I think maybe that's something you might get to see here coming up and notice. You kind of get these ups and downs because it is a roller coaster. Then we go in 2015. You say, oh, maybe it's going to be a decent one. Nope, completely tanks right there. You go into 2015. That was just an absolute dumpster fire. I don't know what went on right here. I can't remember it. I don't know if it was something to do with a debt ceiling or whatever, but that was just a horrible August, September. Oh my goodness. And then you go over here to 2016. You can see it's basically sideways to down. So another bad September. Go to 2017. Actually pretty decent. Actually went up green. I mean, nothing to write home about, but it's probably at 1-2% and everything. So not too bad. 2018 was actually good because guess what happened right after that? Had a 20% crash. So they ran this puppy up. This was during when the Fed was trying to decrease their balance sheet. So we had the taper tantrum right here, and they were trying to increase rates. Yeah, that went well. 2019, again, you see August. It's okay. September starts off really well. Bam, you see that all over. It hits the middle, and then it just tanks, right? And then we go into the fourth quarter. And then we go into 2020. Obviously, we shut down the world. They're pumping plenty of money in this. But September, absolutely horrific. Falls off a cliff right there. Nice correction of 10 to 12%. Then we go into 2021. Now we've opened up and everything. You can see absolutely falls off a cliff right before they sold the markets off completely for 2022. And then you come up here for 2022. We got that bear market rally happen and then just absolutely cratered in September. So terrible right there. And so you get to see the last 10 years. I think it's fair because it's kind of the market we're somewhat in now, but you get to see also during that time frame, there was a lot of the Magnificent Seven, which holding up the markets now, which account for so much of the market. Some of them are really starting to get, bought up a lot by the big hedge funds or becoming the stocks they are today. Some, of course, didn't start till 2020. Moving forward, obviously that'd be Tesla, NVDA, stocks like that, which really have come into their own now. But at least I want you to, get a picture of it. Let me know what you think in the comments and stuff. Let me know what your prediction is for September as well. Because when we look at what we're at currently, you can see right here, this is a plain out V-shaped recovery, right? And so we've had this big move down. It's crazy. We're only like 1.5% away from being green for the month of August. And you can see you got that gap above. It's trying to break out of this 4-hour supply area. You can see right there. And I will say one thing about September. The worse September you have, the better fourth quarter you usually have from all the data I have read. But you can see, I'm going to put this in here for you. That is a perfect V-shaped recovery right there, okay? And we'll see if it continues to play out. And when you come closer, you can see right here we're above the 50, 100, the 200. So it has regained all its moving averages at this point in time on the daily. Again, we're trying to break out of that 4-hour supply area. We actually did move a little above it. Got rejected. Now, when you look at the Discord here that we're in, this is a perfect example what I showed you yesterday, how a gap can absolutely show up as resistance. And I was saying, okay, here we are. We're at the gap. We're going to reject. are piled through this because a lot of people think you go up to a gap and you automatically fill, and then about 15 to 20 minutes later, and rejection, as I put in here, and you can see it actually came up, rejected down from the gap, and then actually moved up in the gap, and then completely sold off, and actually started grabbing liquidity at the lower level there. And so, again, I just want you to see gaps don't always just go into gaps and just start flowing through them. Sometimes that does not happen, especially on indexes. It's a little game they like to play. And then if we go to Tesla right here, I added in that third trend line like I told you I would after yesterday's video. But you can see it's still respecting that ascending first and second trend line. But I also added in this support and resistance right here between like 254, 260. And that's what I talked about when I said it'll probably start consolidating out a little bit once it hits 260. And that's what you've seen. Just hit right there, got rejected, came down, got support, come up, rejected. And then also came down to that middle trend line and caught support and started moving back up. And so we'll have to see if we can break that. But when we go over here, you can see moving out on the weekly right here around like that 260, 262 area. It needs to break above. And if it does, the air is thin up there because this is when it gets those crazy moves. So there's not a lot of support resistance type of stuff going on up in this area. And I did have to go back and add this in right at the last minute because the last 15 minutes of the day, it shot up past 260, heavy rejection, pushed back down, going back to around 258-ish right there. But that's either a signal say, yep, tomorrow we plan on pushing through this thing. But the other thing is it couldn't hold, right? It went to retest, couldn't hold, came back down in. So keep that in mind for Tesla. Now, Google, again, adding some trend lines like we did with Tesla on the shorter time frames. You can see right here, it's been moving up nicely. Got that gap right there to fill. On the hourly, you can see MACD looks like it wants to roll over, getting stretched, overbought on the RSI right here for this one, right at the top of that trend line. So maybe you can see it cooling off. And again, it needs to make it through like 137-ish right there. If you can get through that, it's going to move up to 142. And I don't think it's going to take long just because, remember, we're only like 8% away from all-time highs. So again, the air is thin up here. There's not just a lot of resistance, but there's also not a lot of orders sitting there either. So that's the one thing you got to think about as well. And that's why you see these stocks, they'll get near all-time highs, and then they'll sell right back off. And then we go into Shopify. They were up double digits today. And one thing to look on Shopify, if you're looking to get in this thing or when to get in and buy heavy, just go on the weekly, pull up either the 40-week moving average or just put the daily 200 on there, and you can see it respects it very well. I mean, multiple bounces. That's where it bounced down here and found support when it started going into that gap, which is why I didn't feel the whole gap right there. But they pop on news, Shopify stock. Comes up with a deal where they're going to put the Prime button, I guess, in there for their merchants and stuff. I'm not sure if this is like a Trojan horse by Amazon or not. I'm not sure. Let me know what you think in the comments. But it says right here, they reached a deal with Amazon to integrate the company's Buy with Prime service into Shopify's app ecosystem. Merchants will be able to tap into Amazon's Prime loyalty program and speed delivery. So we'll see how that works out. Seems like a great deal for Amazon. I'm not sure about Shopify. Now, Palantir is another one of these heads and shoulders, right? So I put in here, wouldn't it be funny if all these head and shoulders don't play out? It seems too perfect going into the worst month of the year to have all these head and shoulders popping up on all these different individual charts, on the indexes, on the sector, ETFs and stuff. And but you can see here's Palantir down double digits today. This will put it, I still say between 10 and 12. I mean, I don't think, rarely do these play out and go all the way down where they're supposed to and stuff. But again, you could watch 10 or 12 play out. What's crazy about this, they got a downgrade. That's what happened. And this downgrade is huge. This downgrade comes from Morgan Stanley. And what they're saying is that this stock could drop 45% more from current levels. So let me know what you think down the bottom right there. I don't know about 45%. I definitely see another 10 to 15. But again, let me know what you think. Now, talking about the data done tomorrow. This is huge. You got average hourly earnings month over month and year over year. You got government payrolls, manufacturing payrolls, non-farm payrolls is going to be the big one. Then you're going to have participation rate. And then there's the unemployment rate. Please put your prediction down at the bottom. It don't seem to want to move. It's at 3.5 right now. Then you have S&P Global Manufacturing, construction spending month over month. Then you get all the ISM stuff for manufacturing, new orders. This is going to be a big one, PMI, all that good stuff. And so, yes, this is data that can absolutely shift this market. Either way, you've seen it all week. As soon as the data dump comes out, if it sees as bullish, off to the races, bearish, oh my goodness, what happened? There goes my calls, right? I mean, it's happened all week. I hear people all day talking about, like, I'm not buying anything right now because I'm not going to get news bleeped, and you can fill that bleep in all you want. And so it's just a lot coming out tomorrow. So it's going to be interesting. Like, remember, bad news is still good news for the stock market, right? So it's like, well, if unemployment goes up to say 3.7, 3.8, say it pops up, how is the market going to take that? Because that's technically not good news, but then they'll go, wait a minute, that's great. Again, it's all about whether the Fed's going to pause, right? And so it just sees it how it wants to see it. So let me know what you think about that down in the bottom. Because, like, again, what they do with manufacturing stuff, if it's bullish, they write it up. If it's bearish, they go, whatever. Don't care about it. And so it's so funny to watch it happen and stuff. But again, just follow price action, momentum, and if it's bad news, the stocks are going to pop. If it's good news, stocks are going to pop. So, but again, tomorrow will be the last month of August. Give me your prediction for September as well. Let me know what you think about that. So there's a lot of stuff going on. No earnings to really worry about tomorrow. And again, we'll see what happens. But I'll have a video for you tomorrow to let you know about that. We'll do the Saturday video, answering all your questions and going over some common stuff. And Sunday, I'll set you up. Don't forget, Monday, we're closed. So again, it can be an interesting Friday because you got weekly expiration, but you're also going into a long weekend. Okay, and so some people don't, the volume will probably be low, I would suspect, because a lot of people like to buy and hold over a 3-day weekend for obvious reasons. So anyway, hope you guys got some out of it, guys. Please hit the like and subscribe button as usual. I really appreciate it. Thanks for sharing the videos and watching them. You guys are the best, and I will see you tomorrow.